Hey, this is Eric from Catching Light.
Hey, this is Hemp.
Hey, this is Glenn.
Hi, I'm Steve-O.
Hey, this is Drew Hines with Hindsight Imagery.
This is Matt Callahan at Digimatty Photographic Services.
Hey, this is Jason, and welcome to Tales from the Pit. Hello and welcome to Tales from the Pit, the behind-the-lens access for concerts and photography. Today is our part 2 of our interview with Greg Kretschmar, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about how he got started in radio. So take it away, Greg.
I knew I wanted to be on the radio since I was 9.
Really?
Not because I wanted to be that guy or had any illusions as to how well known I would be, but because I love music. And since I couldn't play it, I couldn't play an instrument or be in a band because everybody in radio wanted to be in a band. I wanted to play records. I wanted to play music, and it never changed. Went to college for it, and I got the job at HEB in Portsmouth 2 weeks before I graduated, and that's been my home base ever since. And now we're on 7 stations. And
That's amazing. That's so
great.
cool.
That's good for you that you found a home right off. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it was kind of lucky. Everything kind of changed. I hit the scene like 84 at a time when, hey, what's going on? That was going out the window, right? All the big voice jobs.
All the hits all the time.
All the hits, that's right.
Kind of like Jason.
Yeah, right.
Welcome, everybody, from Tales from the Pit.
Tales from the Pit.
Nah, you got a great voice. Don't let them give you that.
We're critiquing his voice.
But anyway, it became more about being a real person, you know what I mean? And so it kind of allowed me to kind of fit in a little bit, I was
You have a great crew there, too, at the station. You guys are a riot.
It's all about that. I handpicked them not because they had experience. I handpicked them because we could sit around the table and shoot the shit.
And they had personalities, yeah.
And they're nice.
It's a good mix.
And they're all different. We're all weird in one way or another. And
We are too,
most importantly, we all trust each other. Because when you're out there on that wire, especially now, where any one thing that you say can throw your 30-year career out the window, you have to trust the people that you're with. And I got their back, and they got mine, and that's why it works.
It's kind of like us, too, because we formed this relationship with all these guys. There's a couple more that aren't here, but we've got a good family unit going on now, and thanks to Jason for getting this thing going, too. This has even brought us more together, which is great.
Yeah. I love this for multiple reasons. A, music, right? Rock and roll, country, it's all good to me.
Yeah.
B, hearing the backside. You guys get the best seat in the house. You get the perspective that nobody gets to see. I've been on stage. I've looked from behind the stage. I've sat behind Shannon Larkin of Godsmack, and you look out and you see what you guys see. It's crazy. It's the best seat in the house, no matter where you are. And you get that perspective, and nobody else does. Very few people do.
Yeah,
It definitely spoils you for going to shows. I remember buying Eric Church tickets, third row from the top, as far away from the stage as you can get. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Away from to come to Meadowbrook where I can be part of the band. Jesus, why am I going to? No. Yuck.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
If I'm not in the pit, I ain't going to the show.
Right. No.
See, I'm not so much like that because we get to be friends with a lot of the venues, and I don't need to be up close. I'm just glad to be there. I don't mind being up close, but I only go to the shows now that have a special connection to, and there are ones that we're working and, going up with Kiss and all that stuff.
Yeah. I have the most fun up in the lawn, to be honest with you, before the shows. People up there, they're just fun and free, and the whole place is great, but I have fun up in the lawn.
You forgot drunk. And I mean that in the nicest way.
Just a little.
Yeah, our job is to get the fan experience, and when the tailgating starts, that's when the real fan experience happens.
But you know what's cool, though? You know that those guys are going home And maybe not that night when they're drunk, but the first thing they're doing in the morning is they're hitting the website and they're clicking through 300 pictures to see if you got
Oh
better.
yeah.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'll call
That's
them
pretty
out.
cool.
I'll say, hey, you're going to be on the Facebook page, so check it out when you get
Right.
home or something. I'll call them
we
right
have
out.
a certain
Totally.
level of control over that as to, if we say this picture's going on there, unless there's something in the picture that makes it
Right.
so,
Right.
they don't want the alcohol outside the venue or, nothing
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
like it's illegal activity or anything like that. If it's
Yeah.
just, you're a knucklehead, you're going on Facebook, that's going.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll actually call. I'll stand up and all right. Who wants their photo on the venue Facebook page? And people will raise their hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as
Hold
they
the
hear
line, let's
Facebook,
do
like, oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a
Yeah, I think
perspective not a lot of people get.
I think we all know that we have the best gig in the place.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah. People say that all the time. You get the best job. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we do.
Yeah, well, they say that to me too, because they think, dude, you get out of work at 10.
Yeah, you're also up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
What time do you go into work?
I go in, I get up at 3:15, at work by 4. Show starts at 5:30, goes till 10. We'll do an added podcast that's off the air called the 24/7 after the show. Sometimes if we're talking to Brent Smith from Switzerland, we'll record an interview at like 11, and that we play it back the next day. We have meetings and stuff like that, and then you go home, and then I'll spend 3 more hours prepping and working on ideas. I did that already today, for tomorrow's show or for a show a month from now. It never stops. Like this job, this is my 36th year. I've had homework every single night before I work, every night.
Well, we won't
Now,
hold you
how
too
much sleep
long
do you
because you're
get?
gonna get up.
No, dude, I don't mind. I'm not saying it for that reason. I'm just saying.
No, I know that.
I get like 6. I get like 5 to 6 hours, sometimes less.
I'm like that. That's me.
Yeah, same here.
But you can't go in unprepared. It's not people
absolutely.
making it sound like it's off the cuff or winging it. Sometimes it is, but you can't rely on that. That'll get you by for an hour, but not for 4.5.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So
What do you do like in the mornings when you don't feel well and stuff like that?
I fake it.
You just tough it out, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you tough it out or you admit it. I'm 50% today, or man, I just feel like, and the cool thing about the relationship that we have with the audience is we'll admit it, and then I'll say, all right, let's do something that'll make me feel better. And it's funny because it's kind of got that family vibe to it. At least that's how I feel. Like they'll kind of reach out to help you out, and there are certain ways things that you can do that, positive things. We try to keep the show upbeat. We're not a mean show to anybody else other than ourselves. And they'll be there for you. That's the one thing I've learned. As much as they may feel that we're there for them, they are there for us. And that's that's a very special kind of bond that we all take seriously. So
I would imagine that if you show up and you're just not yourself, that you've got the rest of your crew to help pick you up. I know that there was one particular night I came on. I did not want to come on and do the show with our guys, and I kind of logged on and went, "Hi, I'm here."
We
And
remember.
these guys just kind of took care of it, and they dragged me out every once in a little bit, get me talking. But there's got to be days where you just get where the other guys pick you up.
Absolutely, and vice versa. And normally, like I lay down the rules because I'm the pilot, and it will be, look, you can have a bad day, I can have a bad day. We can't both have the same bad day. That can't happen. And we're gonna have shows that don't click. We're gonna have shows that fail, but we are not gonna have two in a row. I'll tell you that. And so we'll leave, and then I'll be like, tomorrow has to change. So come in ready to go. And it's not a jerk. I'm not being a jerk or a dictator. They feel it just as much as I do, but that's kind of how you do. Like, we have to support each other in that way.
Are you guys feeling it more now with this COVID thing going around? That's kind of bringing everybody down a notch, I think. And I know it has for me personally in my personal life.
It's been difficult. And it's been difficult because for the first 3 months they were at home. I was the only one in the studio. And as different as it was, it kind of brought us a little closer together because I was in their homes. I'm looking into their homes. So Kelly's mother walks out of her room and slaps him in the face because he said something bad. It was hilarious. It was great. And I was like, "Did your mother just hit you?" But what's cool about it is
At his age, really? Wow.
Well, yeah, he went through a divorce. I mean, it happens sometimes. But anyway, it was difficult because we had to change our focus. Listening habits had changed. People were getting up later because a lot of people weren't working.
Yeah.
And so what we decided was, and this gets back to what you asked, Glenn, was that I was going to focus on comfort rather than fear, right? Because, we were all getting beat over the head with death numbers and how scary it was going to be. And I thought, all right, what you got to do in that case is let's talk about the things that all of us can identify with, simple as they may be, and allow yourself to breathe and maybe goof off for a little bit. I'm going to ask a question coming up, and this is the question. You get to invite 3 cartoon characters to a party. Who are you going to invite? Now, it's the stupidest question ever, but you know what it does?
But that's good.
For 10 minutes, you're not thinking about COVID and what you can and can't do. And one person gets on the phone and they make you laugh, and then somebody else has a thought, and then it just builds. And so we concentrated on that. I talked about, I didn't say we're all in this together, but I wanted to know that we're all going through the same stuff, and it worked. I mean, we got through it. Yeah. And well, it's just how I know I want to feel. I wanted to get away from the news as much as anybody else. So
Absolutely.
We had a great, the ratings were very nice. So, which is nice.
I mean, that's, stuff like that. That's really important in this time. So the work you're doing is just, it's so much needed. I mean, with everything going on, you turn on anything online and it's just a nonstop, overwhelming slap in the face. So stuff like that is just so much needed. So
I
really appreciate that stuff.
Well, thank you. But I mean,
Hats off to you.
Well, thank you. It's just one of those things where I can't be a part of the fear machine. And a lot of my own survival has dictated how we do the show, weirdly enough.
That's awesome. It's great.
So it's weird to talk about because it's not something I normally talk about, but thank you for asking.
But
Now in a couple weeks, you can actually hear him.
Yeah.
Right. It's just really, it's good. It's good to have that perspective. It's good. When I get up in the morning, the last thing I want to do is deal with all this stuff, and having stuff like that to kind of help me through the day. Just it's so impactful.
But we also, we talk a lot about music because that's the one thing that unifies us all. Whether or not it's Zach Brown, I'm not afraid to talk about Zach Brown or play Zach Brown or talk about a country artist or dance artist. It doesn't matter. Dude, I was at the Zach Brown show. They did Metallica, and half the country audience was giving the metal horns. If that doesn't tell you something,
You're gonna be going on Zach Brown band.
You don't like him or you do?
Oh no!
Every episode he comes up in every episode.
No.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Every person we have on talks about Zach Brown.
I'm waiting to get Andy Sapp's job. As soon as he retires, I'm headed to Nashville. Take that job.
I've reached out to him.
Yeah.
No response yet.
That'd be a great show to shoot. I'll tell you.
Speaking
But
of which,
it
there's my buddy
is,
right
it is.
there.
yeah.
Where is he? That's right.
He can play, dude. Dude can
I
play.
think they're awesome.
They
Yeah.
sell out every time too.
Yeah.
2 nights
Yeah.
every time they come through, it's a 2-night sellout show.
I called once and I bought 17 tickets. And then they told me how much they were. I bought them. I bought them. Everybody paid. Everybody paid. I wasn't paying for everybody. I just want you to know.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
But
That's funny.
Recently, they've gotten to be a lot more money.
the music is kind of that's why we talk about music on the show too much, and that's why I'm really intrigued by you guys doing this, because this is the backstage part that people don't see. Even if it's shot from the front of the stage, what you're doing is the kind of backstage stuff as a music fan that I always wanted to know about. And in our job, I've been lucky enough to experience it and see it from that way. So I always appreciate it. I don't take any of that stuff for granted. I don't take the show for granted. My job could end tomorrow, and who knows, someday that's going to happen. But
you can travel the world after that, buddy.
Amen.
There you go.
I'm not afraid of it. You get to a point where you're not afraid of it anymore.
Exactly.
Right. Bring it on.
Now, Greg, during the lockdown, did you take a lot more photos?
Well, it was weird because every place I wanted to go was shut down. I love the ocean, so I spent a lot of time going to Maine.
Yeah.
And every place I wanted to go was shut down. So I ended up in the woods, looking up at bald eagles and shooting bald eagles. But I did a lot of that, and I didn't mind the solitude.
Yeah.
Is that bad to say? I didn't
No,
mind
not
it.
at all. No, I'm here.
I shot more. I'm right near Clough State Park, and I've seen more of that park this year than I grew up here. And I've never
Right.
seen the backside of it until this year, and I've shot so
Right.
much out there. So,
Yeah. Well, it's like what you said earlier too. Like, you could go to Nubble Light and shoot it, and you could go there 100 times, and somebody will go, Jesus, it's the same lighthouse. Yeah, but nothing else is the same.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like
You're right.
they could say to you, "Oh, it's just another concert." Oh no, it's not. So,
Your Nebel shots are beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, they are
thanks.
incredible.
Thanks.
I
It's a
took
great
my
place.
daughter down there. We went down there to do some shooting at the last year sunrise. I forget when it was. So my daughter's just trying to get into photography. So I was like, you know what? Let's get up real early and let's head on down there and catch some sunrise. And we just did it together. And it was good.
That's the key,
I mean,
man.
that's
getting up
awesome.
early.
Yeah, totally. Just her and I, 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was.
Yep. Usually, if I'm going to shoot a sunrise, I'll get there an hour before sunrise, so it's about 4.
Yeah.
Because the color is definitely the best before the sun hits the horizon.
Yeah,
Normally.
absolutely.
So it takes that kind of commitment. But since I normally get up at that time, it's not that big a stretch.
Yeah, I've hiked some 4,000 footers, and you have to get up some real early to catch the sunrise on top of one of those things. So
Yeah,
I know
clearly
what
I'm
early's
not.
all about.
I'm not hiking them. Okay, clearly if there's a road that'll get me up there, I'll go check them
No,
out.
that's why you got the drone, right? You got the drone for that.
There you go. I don't hike too much anymore myself, but I've done some.
Yeah. But I've been in some spots, like alone in the middle of nowhere, where I think maybe most people would go, it's a little uncomfortable. I don't find it that at all. I'm always I'm safe, and stuff, but just being out there and feeling your place in the world is definitely why I shoot landscapes.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So,
Not to go too far into it. You get into an argument with Andy about Boca, and I called in and you asked, was I a professional photographer? And I couldn't get it out that I was the Meadowbrook photographer. I couldn't get it out of my mouth, and Andy's like, "No, you're not." Click.
yeah, Andy, arguing with Andy was always a challenge, So, but you'll get the one person too, like, this is the best shot you ever took, and I'm like, it's my fucking iPhone that took that. Okay, thanks. It crushes me. Crushes me.
It's not the gear; it's the photographer.
Right.
It's the moment. Yeah.
Yep.
Over the years, I've listened to you on the radio for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, I discovered you're a photographer. It's like, wow, this guy is really good.
Well,
I was
thank you.
very impressed by that. Thank you.
Thank you very
sharing.
much.
So,
I appreciate it.
So go ahead and tell us about some of these shots. So this looks like Godsmack here, Sully.
Yeah, this is a show they did. It was kind of like a special show. They were already well into the arena stage, but they still wanted to play the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom because it was their hometown crowd and it was small and personable. And this is probably like the second song in. Sully doesn't know it's me sitting there because my face is behind the camera. And he comes out, and Sully is a really interesting guy, and I've seen him change throughout the years. Early on, he'll admit this. He was real intense, and he liked everything a certain way. Still does to a certain degree, but he's much calmer now. He's really at a good place where right now they are having more fun on tour than they've ever had before. But in the early days, and I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to experience it, it wasn't always easy. He was a hot-tempered kind of guy. I've always gotten along great with him, still do. And he's driven though. You got to appreciate a guy. He knows what he wants, and that's what he's going to do. And he rips it up, and he's 100% about music. It's less about being a rock star and more about expressing what's on the inside waiting to come out. And here's a guy that grew up on the streets of Lawrence, Mass. And now, is a New Hampshire guy.
Wow. Yeah.
And he's doing things to help out kids and people that struggle with addiction and mental illness. And it's really been nice to watch his trajectory, and he's really been real nice to me through the years. So,
It's funny you talk about how you shoot from emotion. and everything you just talked about had zero to do with the picture and everything to do with your emotional connection to the picture.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, what can I tell you what the shutter speed was? No, I can't. A lot of times I can, but with this
That's
one,
okay.
this was probably like 2016 or something. It's the 1,000 horsepower tour. Yeah, they come out ripping out of the gate. The last time I saw them at Meadowbrook, they played better than I've ever seen them play. You know, and most of that had to do with the fact it was the joy that they had playing. You know, whereas it's not a job anymore. They're doing it because they want to do it. Big difference. I saw Heart this past year up at Meadowbrook, and they were working. There was no joy up there on stage. Those are the bands I want to see. The bands that are on stage loving it because we love it. You know.
Absolutely. It
Your way of
translates.
looking
So
at it is interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Hey,
Here
oh,
comes the
man.
fist bump when I didn't know what he was talking about. And I'm thinking, like, does he do this for the photographers? Am I supposed to know what he's doing? But he recognized that it was me, and he's trying to give me a fist bump. And I've got other pictures where he's laughing his ass off because I'm an idiot. And but I caught this moment, and it was just kind of, you know, the anger and yet the smile on his face a little bit with the joy. It was a mixture of both. And I love that his hand is a little out of focus too, because it's moving, you know.
I think he's saying, "Hey, asshole, it's me. Look."
Right. Robbie is a real good guy. Like sitting backstage with Robbie when they toured at the last Meadowbrook show, and we were around the fire, and he was saying, he goes, I love doing this. I've always loved doing this, but man, he goes, I just want to be home with my boy, you know. And I was like, that gets me right in the feels because I get it. You know, and we have those kind of chats. So I've always been really kind of connected to Robbie. So.
and this was the show with Shinedown, right?
No, this is still the Casino Ballroom show. I didn't.
Oh, was it?
I
Okay,
working,
sorry.
I
Yep.
was working the Shinedown show, so I was on
Gotcha.
the side stage by the board. You know, and but this was the Casino Ballroom show. So
Nice.
yeah, thank you.
The thing I like about it is the facial expressions you get. Those are the ones
Yeah.
that draw me in.
Yeah.
That connect me to my pictures and yours.
Well,
I mean,
don't change it yet. I mean, looking at this picture, you don't know what's going on until you told us what's going on. Now I
Right, the
see his
story.
expression. I see him trying to get your
Right.
attention.
Right.
I didn't see that until you told the story.
I'm
That's
clueless.
a great story.
When I first started, you know, posting pictures, you know, people were like, the picture's got to tell the story. I'm like, well, I agree with that. But I also think, like, whenever I bought an album, and every picture is a movie, every picture is a song to me. And when I used to buy albums, I couldn't wait to open the album, and I hoped there were liner notes on the inside.
Yep.
It told me what the artist was thinking. And so when I post pictures or share pictures online, I write about what the experience was like for me to shoot it. And I've gotten stuff from some photographers who are like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, well, then don't. But I do. Because to me, it's sharing that experience. If that puts somebody in the picture with me, you know, with their shoes crunching across the ice and the snow, it makes the picture more real. So,
And I think that's why we do this. It's why we have our show. At least I think that's what Jason's vision was for this, was to not have us get technical.
my dog.
That's awesome. To not have us get technical on the ISO settings and how we edited it and all this other stuff, because the average viewer is looking at it going, dude, I don't care.
They don't
Care
Right.
about the emotion of it, how you connect.
What happened? What was the show? Yeah, totally.
Yep. And I think the next picture you had was Robbie and Tony.
Yep.
And
That's great.
that was not a filter shot. That's the way the light, you know, obviously looked
I
with the
was
stage
just going to
smoke.
ask you that.
Yep. No, there was no
That's
filter.
cool.
It happened moments. I love the starburst on the guitar.
I know. I was
over
going
here.
to say, dude, that's fake.
Yeah.
You made that.
I wouldn't know how to make it. I have no idea how to make it. But
It's perfect. It's perfect.
I love to shoot at a lot of times if I'm dealing with a light source, I shoot at like F20, F22, F18, because that's how you'll get, you know, that kind of effect. And
Yep.
I'll boost the ISO up, and I'll drop the f-stop to F22 and try to navigate the shutter speed. But I love the fact that middle of the song, they're communicating. right? Tony's
Yeah.
looking at, Tony's kind of the
Yep.
professor of the band. He's the technical guy. And Robbie's just going, okay, I got it. And they're just kind of feeling each other out from 4 feet away, you know? And the
Now,
light just makes it.
You had asked earlier, did you know this was going to be this good of a shot?
No, I didn't, because as I'm shooting, I shot, I think, a few in a row. I shoot at burst mode sometimes.
Yep.
I knew I would get the light in the middle. The surprise was the light off the bass strings.
Yeah.
That was the
Yep.
surprise.
Yep,
And that's, to me,
100%.
what makes the shot.
Did you
That's the
yell
shot.
when you saw that and go, wow, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the second question is this black and white because it was washed out by one solid color?
That was another
You know what?
question I was gonna have.
And it is. You're exactly
Yeah.
right, because that light is green, I think, and it was overpowering. It was really overpowering, and it wasn't as cool. And as soon as I did it in black and white, I thought, wow, that looks so much better. And I love
totally.
the kind of the raw texture of it in black and white. You know,
Very good.
Some of us are convinced that certain artists will have that one color wash to hide wrinkles, skin flaws, aging things that
I agree.
we can't get, and they know that the first 3 songs we're shooting this, so they don't give us much to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw the picture. One of you took of Alice Cooper. Who was it? Alice Cooper. Yeah.
Which one?
And
We did a
he-
couple.
Oh,
Probably hemp. I think it was hemp.
No, the only
you-
good one, Jason.
I'm sorry.
you could see the lines in Alice's face.
Yeah.
You could see how old Alice is, and I love that. I thought that was a great image.
He's in love
That
with Dave
detail.
Matthews, though.
Yeah, not bad. I get it. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And I love this because the backlight behind Robbie's head, and yet still watching each other, communicating, following one another. You know, the concentration on Tony's face on the lead guitar. I love it. Robbie's just kind of looking at him, but the backlighting on Robbie, to me, makes the shot.
Yeah.
Boy, those D750s are incredible, aren't they, Greg?
I love it. I would buy another one, and if they go out of style, I'll buy one to hold onto.
I've got 2 of them sitting back of me.
I love it.
Yeah.
To the Mark IV could get that a little crisper.
Probably right. But you know what?
Well,
though?
Kretschy, in your hands, it would be as good. You would never improve anything that you're doing. Only if Glenn had it would it be better.
And I'll
Put
add,
my
if you
2
had a
cents in
Sony,
there.
and if you had the Sony, it would have been a lot lighter while you're taking the photo as well.
But I don't know if I would like that. I kind of like the dark.
You like that
feeling
heft?
of it.
No, I'm talking about the
Greg.
weight of the camera.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
Your arms wouldn't be
So-
sore by the end of the night.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go, Shannon.
He's a beast.
He is.
He's an absolute animal on the drums. He's a real gentle guy. And the focus he has, and I watched him from behind the kit and in front of it, and the communication he has with Sully right there. I think he's looking at Tony, the bass player. And I wanted to get him hitting the cymbals, but when I saw his face and the focus on his eyes, he's not looking at the crowd. He's looking at his bass player. And that's what I liked about this picture.
It's funny because I try and get every member of the band, and it never fails. The cymbal's always in front of the drummer's face every time I shoot.
Yep.
I
Yep.
can't
Pulling the
seem to
focus
go
off or
around it.
something. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God.
I think this is during
That's
the cymbal, the drum off between him and Sully, the Timbale song that they do, which is amazing to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Shannon's one of my favorite drummers. He's so good. And
That's
he's
quite the
about as
setup,
thick
man.
as that drumstick, too.
Scotty,
He's super skinny.
Roadkill and I were they brought us backstage behind the amps during their last Verizon Wireless Arena show, and we watched all of the drumming and the drum off from behind Shannon. And Shannon got up afterwards and walked over to Roadkill because he knew Roadkill was a drummer, and he gave him the sticks. Thought Roadkill was going to pass out. It was the coolest thing to see, right? Because
awesome.
the joy that in
Yeah.
watching Scotty's face was worth the price of admission.
Even you guys are
Hell
starstruck.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing better than watching somebody like Roadkill have that experience for me. You know, to watch that happen. And I thought it was cool too, but I know what it meant to Scotty. And for him to give him the drumsticks, yeah, it was priceless.
He'll
It was
cherish
really
it
Yeah,
for
cool.
life.
no doubt.
Yep. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's a good one.
There you
You're
go. Oh,
killing
yeah.
it on the drummers, man. Wow.
This is the drum off, and I shot this not really realizing how well Sully's face would be lit.
Yeah.
Two things that I really like about this shot. I like the color and the reflections and stuff like that, but obviously Sully's eyes are number one. And the second thing I like is the sticks make a cross right over his face.
Oh yeah,
First thing I noticed.
Perfectly, right across the
Now
eyes.
that
Yeah.
you mention it, yeah, that's
Yep.
good. I like the
Absolutely
detail you pick out of
nailed
these
the
things.
focus.
Yes, you did.
The catch
No
light
doubt.
in his eye is pinpoint perfect.
Yeah.
This is a cropped shot because I didn't know what he was going to do, so I went horizontal and with the frame, and I knew if I got a tight shot, I could always crop it. But in case he went out wide with his arms, I wanted to be able to capture that too. So I shot it horizontally, and I cropped it to a vertical.
He's such a good drummer too. I mean, for people who don't know his history and the bands he was in before Godsmack, you know, he was originally a drummer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Yeah, he's a really, really good drummer.
Where were you
He's very-
positioned when you took the shot? Almost seems like you're looking down at him.
Yeah, I think that might have been. I might have been
In a
in the
booth.
booth. In the booth.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
might have been in the booth.
That makes
Cool.
sense. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Greg, you shoot raw?
Yep. I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, we all did.
Well, just because of what you can do with it. You know, you can shoot a raw shot and know what you can do with it afterwards in post.
Oh yeah.
This is the Pretty Reckless bass player, Mark Damon. And what I loved about this is just 1970s badass, you know, bass player, no smiling, all business, kicking ass and taking names. That's what I love about it.
Yep.
Good dude, New Hampshire guy too, really nice guy. So #1 single too right now.
Yep. Yep. Totally. And I really like your use of colors and your sort of the darks in this as well. It really falls off very nice into the black.
Yep.
I like it.
What I did is I deepened the blacks a little bit because it just made it feel more moody, and it kind of drew you into the light on his face
Yep,
and the neck
totally.
of the neck of the bass.
Yep.
So I boosted the blacks. I left the color alone because it didn't mean anything. So
Cool.
isn't it funny how you can remember almost everything that you did to a photo to get it to where it is?
Yeah.
But I can't remember that my wife told me to get milk on the way home.
We've talked about that one, so
Yeah.
we'll skip
So.
these.
Yeah.
There we go.
I love this.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
Iconic. And it looks vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah, I was
This
trying to
could
think of
be-
I was trying to think of the word. So thank you, Jason. That's exactly what it is.
This could almost be 89, 1989
Exactly.
or something like
It
that.
is. It is not a crisp shot as I would like, but that lends to what I think I like about it.
Right.
Is that
exactly.
it's a little bit out of focus, or the movement is a little too fast, like his foot. And I still love that his left foot is blurry.
Yeah, and you
because
get
he's-
some graininess to it that makes it even better. I like the graininess in the back. It's cool.
Yep. When I saw it was lit well for color. It's way better in black and white.
Yeah.
Way better in black and white.
Yeah, Jason nailed it. 100% vintage look on that thing is just that
Thank
could
you.
come right out of the pages of Rolling Stone magazine, buddy. That's a great shot.
Thank you. Thank you
From
for the
any year.
kind
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, totally.
I appreciate it. Because you guys are the best. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm just a rookie.
And it goes to show. I'm the kind of guy I wouldn't post it if it's not crystal clear, perfect, and everything's in focus and everything's the way I want. I look at that and go, "It's fucking amazing, man. I wish I shot that."
With my buddies, I always have when I see something they do that's just outstanding, and they shot it better than I did, I just tell them I want to punch them in the face. It's crazy.
That's why we hate Glenn. No.
Yeah. Hey.
I get that face. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was a shot that was leading up to the shot that I like with his hands, and so I was trying to get his hands. This didn't do it as well as the other shot, but I look at shots like this and I think, you think he ever regrets choosing that top hat? Because he's got to wear that top hat for the rest of his friggin' life, He's going to do trade shows and sign autographs with a top hat on. I just,
But
funny you say that. He was in. I'm sorry, Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
And the top hat did not come out until the encore.
Yep. I saw them. They did that. Yep.
But if you put if you put a top hat on a silhouette of a guitar player, there's only one person you can think of.
You're right. Yep. You're right.
There's no
Do you
doubt
ever
about
get
it.
the feeling, Greg, when you were shooting this? I know this is one of the times when I shot Slash. I'm looking at it and I kind of went, "This dude's a freaking icon, man."
I've had the opportunity to get up close with him and hang out, and it crosses your mind every time. He's sitting there and he's talking about how his kids think he's dorky, and I'm going like, man, what's wrong with them? But to them, he's their dad, they think he's dorky. I interviewed Ozzy Osbourne, and I sat on the couch with him, and he's got the OZZY on his knuckles. Now, if you're old enough, you know that picture of his knuckles and that tattoo was in Rolling Stone. So I'm sitting there on the couch with him, and he's really nice. Ozzy Osbourne is the best smelling celebrity I've ever sat next to. He smelled like raspberries. I know that sounds weird, but it's absolutely true. And he's really kind, right? And so I'm sitting there, and he'd broken his foot, so he's lacing up his boot to hide the break in his foot. This is when the Osbournes were on, and I'm looking at the OZZY, and I'm transfixed on it because he is a legend. That's Black Sabbath, it's Ozzy, it's Rolling Stone, it's the Hall of Fame, and I'm sitting next to him, and our knees are touching on the couch. And it was just an average everyday moment. And there are moments that happen like that where you kind of go, they're no different than us.
It's true. Good point.
And then you stop treating them like something that they aren't. And you treat them like a real person, and they appreciate it, and then they remember you, and that's how I've developed relationships, not because I was trying to, but just because treat everybody the same, and they appreciate it,
Yeah.
So Ozzy, by the way, laced up the whole boot. It took 10 minutes. And then I've told the story on the air before, and then screamed, fuck, as loud as he could. The security guard came running into the room, and I had my hands up. I didn't do nothing. And Ozzy screamed that I put the boot on the wrong fucking leg. He laced up a boot on a broken foot for 10 minutes, and he did it on the other foot was broken.
That's a classic.
That's a true story.
That is a show, right? That is the story right
Jesus.
That is
We
a
end
story.
on that, right?
You're gonna get a lot
True
of
story.
thumbs up on that one. That is awesome.
True story.
Funny.
But he was as nice as could be. So
That's funny. That's great.
yep. This one I liked.
Yeah.
Because he could be playing Sweet Child of Mine right now, and that's what I think of when I see it.
Yep. And that's just
same thing here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, both of them back. They can be the same. It probably is the same song, isn't it?
But yeah, it is. This shot I almost thought was a little overpowered by the green, the arc of the green and the way, and I don't know if that's a lightsaber up there. I was going to take it out, but I left it in because
No, I kind of like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But he's got the swagger, and just like you guys talked about earlier, they come out and they play for the front. They play for the cameras for the first 3 songs, and then the rest is for the audience.
Yeah.
That was a moment where he was playing. He was playing for me.
Yeah.
I just like your shots with the clarity of the skin. That stands out to me. You can just see, like you said, the wrinkles show how hard he's worked. Just around the neck and stuff. It's not a flaw.
He hasn't showered that day at that point. That's my guess.
He doesn't smell like raspberries.
Because it doesn't matter. It's a rock and roll show, man. He doesn't matter. He just goes out there and rocks. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are perfect right here. Perfect.
Yeah. Same thing. Going for the hands. Going for the hands.
Yep. Perfect.
I love the bokeh. It's great.
Yep. I'm actually been trying to do a little bit more with that. Landscape wise, I've been trying to do more with backgrounds out of focus, no matter how beautiful they may be, and focus on something smaller. It's more intimate.
I did that this past weekend up in Algonquin. Messed around with that. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Cool.
But I love you get a little bit of the reflection in his glasses in that one too, just like this one here. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's moments.
Too bad there's no Kretschy in this one right here in the glasses.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. But you know how, like you guys, when you're you're in front of these guys, and they're icons to you too. And there's got to be a moment when you take a second out of work mode and step back and go, I'm standing in front of Zach Brown, or I'm standing in front of, you know, I don't know, anybody that you shot.
It was this guy for me. He went in. The second song was Night Train.
Yeah.
And that opening riff started up, and I went, I know what this freaking song is. And I held the camera up, and because, you know, as you said, we're working. You got to be professional. I held that camera up, and I said, look at him, man. He's a freaking icon. It's unbelievable. Okay, let's go to work. Stop it. You can only get that. I get that moment for like a second, and then you got to focus and get your work done. You got 3 songs. And, you know, and if you're moving to the left and the photographer that you don't know is next to you is moving to the right, that's an issue. like there's a lot of bumping and tripping and stuff in the pit.
We've had some pretty good luck down there, though. We talked about that in the previous show, that all the photographers work well together, even if we don't know them. For the most part, I think we've gelled together nicely.
Yeah.
There'll be guys that come in from out of town, but you get to the point where we see them enough from out of town. I'm sure there's guys that you know, Greg, that we see on a semi-regular basis, and they give everybody professional courtesy.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially the videographers. There, you got to watch yourself with them.
See, that's the one thing about the photography community too that I really loved is that, you know, 9 out of 10, maybe even 9.5 out of 10, are really cool and looking to help you out. You know, they'll help each other out, and every once in a while you get that guy, you know, whose shit don't stink, you know, and isn't afraid to tell you that. And I just I just move around. I just move around him, you know. So
Jason's far from that.
Oh, Jason's not that.
Jason's a very patient young man.
Yep.
So. I'm just hanging out with my bros.
Yeah.
I'm just a ball buster.
Cool.
I just can't help it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all the stuff he sent me, fellas.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's the best one. I love that one. I would print that one.
Yeah, that's a cover.
I love
that.
Yeah,
that might go on my wall too.
Yeah, the hand marks, like the dirt marks around the switch at the top of the guitar. You could see where it's like fingerprints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just road worn, man. That's venue after venue and mile after mile. I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, yep.
Wow, you've been a great guest. Cool. Great guest.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Did you say you wanted to ask us a few questions or anything like that? Or
I've asked them. I've asked them through much of them. You know.
Good.
No, I just you know, as a guy that's a fan of music and then later photography, I appreciate what you guys do. I mean, it's a great perspective. I've been lucky enough to see it from that perspective. So. You take moments and kind of bring them to life, which is really neat. So you guys all do great work, and I do enjoy the podcast. So thanks for having me on it.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.
Coming on with us.
Why don't you tell us where people can find more of your work, or if they're interested in purchasing or anything like that? Tell us more about where you're online.
You could find me at adultfriendfinder.com. I like how all you guys laughed. You all knew what that was.
Oh, I thought you meant eHarmony.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
Hornydates.com. No, actually,
Yes, we were just talking about that this morning, as a matter of fact. I'm coming home from the gym, and you had that guy on there talking about that stuff.
Yeah, that's why it was in my mind. But no, my website's pretty simple. I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can follow me on the Instagram at @GKretschy, and G Kretschy is kind of like a mixture of both work and photography. But my photography website is simple, Kretschy.com, KRETCHY.com. So, you know, but I can talk about photography all night long. I mean, you know what I mean?
We'll have you back for another show down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
Let me know.
Totally.
I'd love to do it. And I hope that I get into a pit and shoot with you guys at some point. Maybe
that would be a treat for us too.
Backstage too, right?
Yeah, let's plan something whenever there's a show.
Yeah,
crash the first show
for sure.
That's
backstage.
Cool.
Backstage is different, and it's not what people think it is. You know, I mean, I grew up watching. Yeah, you've seen it. I grew up watching Def Leppard, and you hear about all the things they did with girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The first time I got backstage at Def Leppard, I ran into Joe Elliott. I'm like, oh man, cool. Where are the girls? He's in pajamas and he's eating soft serve ice cream. I'm like, what the? Such a letdown, dude. You know?
Yeah, Meadowbrook, it's lobster and s'mores.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You know,
mini golf.
that is
yeah.
the best hospitality area there is, right there.
There
Those
is, yeah,
guys know
yeah.
how to do it.
Oh,
They
yeah,
do a great
no,
job.
I've heard
So,
that.
Yep.
Many
but
times.
thank you
Most
for having
artists.
me.
Yep.
Excellent.
You know,
Anytime.
I appreciate it. My dog.
Greg,
out here
thank
again.
you so much,
All
Greg.
right.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Greg.
I
Have a good
enjoyed
one,
it.
guys.
Really
Thanks,
did.
Greg.
And keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you, Greg.
All right.
We'll see you
Bye-bye,
guys.
Mike. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Tales from the Pit. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Check us out online at talesfromthepit.net. And if you have any questions, email us at nhconcertphotogs@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.